Hi everyone. Let's discuss today about the industrial evaporators, their brief functionality, and the associated instrumentation and controls. As the name suggests, evaporators are devices that cause a material to evaporate or enter its gas state. Because of their broad range of practical uses, they can be found in a variety of applications ranging from agriculture to waste management. Evaporators are widely employed in most industries that depend on a constant supply of fluids or chemicals. HVAC systems, for example, use evaporator coils to vaporize compressed cooling chemicals, removing heat in the process. An evaporator is a heat exchanger designed whose purpose is to heat a given compound and separate water through evaporation. Traditionally, these evaporators are used in almost all industrial processes. Heat recovery evaporators are used to convert seawater into clean water in desalination plants. Utility companies tend to prefer these evaporators over alternative solutions because of their simplicity and minimal energy requirements. An example is the food sector. Because of their efficiency, evaporators are well suited to an array of industrial applications. They are particularly used in food and process industries where water is eliminated from the foods to increase the concentration of the solid part, obtain the desired taste and texture, and increase shelf life, mostly in dairy products such as tomato, purees, milk, herbal water, gelatin, coconut water, etc. Evaporators are also ideal for very low temperature applications in the food and pharmaceutical industries. The pharmaceutical sector would be another example where removing humidity makes the final product more chemically stable. These include the production of plasma, fermented products, coffee extracts, fruit juices, bulk drugs, glycerin, sweet water, yeast extracts, etc. Designed to serve a variety of practical uses, evaporator are a versatile solution to many common industrial challenges. Let's understand the principle of evaporation. So most of the evaporators will be, you have a shell side and you have another tube side. This is a typical heat exchanger where steam either on, in this case, steam is on the shell side coming and condensate going out. Feed is coming through the tubes and getting to the another chamber where vapors are escaped and concentrate is let out. Here concentrated let out and another part concentrated is concentrated product is let out. This is exactly how its purpose is served to concentrate the non-volatile solutes such as organic compounds, inorganic salts, acids or bases. You see the typical functionality of the thing. You have a vapor chamber here, shell type. Then you have a stream in the coil. Steam is coming in vapor form and going out as a condensate. Your feed is coming in a liquid form. Product is going out and vapor is going up. Okay, your product is removed. This vapor is going out. Again, it is cooled, condensed, and this can go to the next stage. This is a typical function of a evaporator. So you have vertical short tube evaporators or most common first generation evaporators we normally call, because inside short tube, as we have just seen, the bundle of tubes for the exchange of heat are enclosed in another steel cylinder placed at the bottom part of the shell. Steam enters the cylinder and heats the tubes, which in turn will heat the compound where humidity has to be removed. At the end of the evaporation cycle, the steam and the dehumidified compound will exit through the upper and bottom part respectively. That's what we have seen. The advantages are they need less space, they can transfer large amounts of heat, they require low initial investment, they are less efficient whenever there is a difference of temperature between the tubes and the liquid to humidify if the liquid has a high viscosity. This is the major limitation here. This is a typical thing that we have seen. Feed enters at the thing on a shell side, then steam coming on a feed mostly enters either on the tube side or on a shell side. Steam comes in and escapes, then feed comes, vapor goes up and the product comes down as a thick liquor. Then we have the kettle evaporators. The structure of kettle resembles the one of shell and tube heat exchangers with the addition of extra space where the evaporation process takes place. So these are all popularly known as reboilers, often employed at distillation columns at the bottom to provide initial heat that will initiate the whole process of separation. This is a typical thing. You have a steam coming through the tubes going out, and we have the liquid feed that is surrounding heat, vapor on the top, vapor escapes from the top, and the bottom you take out the product. Steam comes in and condensate goes in the goes out in the tubes. And this is another example where we have the bundle of tubes where through the steam will be flowing, and we have another liquid and vapor separated. This vapor will be taken out and this will be taken out separately. This is a side view and this is the front view. This is how vapor also will be on top escaping. Then we have the liquid part. This is the tube bundle where we are using the steam to evaporate the adjoining solution. Then we have falling film evaporator, which most commonly used in coffee industry and desalination plants, where we have a heating steam coming in, getting exposed to the tubes, and through the tubes we are getting the feed seawater or coffee liquor or decoction, and it is made to fall through this, and where it is exposed to steam continuously, and at the bottom you remove the brine and vapor you take out from the top. So then we have single effect evaporation, multi-effect evaporation. Single effect evaporator, if you see, the steam is coming in here and then as leaving out as a condensate. The liquid feed is going here and getting exposed to the stream that is going in here, and then vapor escape from the top, and then condensate product, concentrated product comes here. Then the vapor goes here and again gets condensed, and then the exhaust stream goes to the next stage. So this is a single. So every stage we have the same process. Then if you see the functionality of the single effect evaporator, you have a steam coming in here and leaving out as a condensate. After cooled, blue indicates cool and red indicates hot. And then raw juice is coming here and getting separated. And then it moves up as a vapor and a concentrated juice escapes here. So this is how a single effect evaporator functions. Then you have multiple effect evaporators where the boiling point of water, as the boiling point of water decreases as pressure decreases, the vapor boiled off in one vessel can always be conveniently used to heat the next stage, because multiple evaporation remains one of the popular methods used for the concentration of aqueous solutions. Water is removed from a solution by boiling the liquor in an evaporator and withdrawing the vapor from the top. The first effect you will see only the steam where the energy is used, you are giving it here, feed is coming here, and steam condensate is going out, and feed is coming to the in the form of liquid separation and vapor from the top. Liquid is coming here, vapor is going up. Again, they are all recombined in a second stage where this vapor gets condensed and comes down, and this liquor again goes and gets separated here. And the vapor which are separated at this stage comes back to the third stage where the vapor and liquor again gets in exchanges heat, condensate comes out, the vapor goes up, and the final product comes. So like this, you can have any number of evaporators. So the advantages of multiple evaporators, they are very suitable for large scale, for continuous operation. You can see the one stage to another evaporation, how they will be eating. Highly economical because you are continuously using the heat that is contained in the vapor that is going out. Multiple effects or stages are used mainly to minimize the energy input required to evaporate or boil off undesirable water content. Okay, so the total evaporation in these systems is approximately the number of stages. That's the total efficiency improved. Then if you see the instrumentation and control aspects, we have a heat exchanger slightly away from the outside the evaporator, if not within the evaporator, because here you will see the flow of the steam that is coming in is being controlled by taking the feedback from analysis of the concentration syrup. To what extent is the concentration? If the concentration is more or less, you will be accordingly adjusting the flow here to impart the thing. So this, you have a feed that is syrup that is going through the heat exchanger to the evaporator, and from here the liquid part is coming here as a concentrated syrup out. The vapor is going out as a vapor compressor to another stage. And here you have number of things. We have a level gauge, basically to evaporator level is very important. That's the reason why we have level transmitter, level indicating controller, level indicating recorder. And this level indicating controller is recorded to interlocked to the control valve through which the concentrated syrup is going out, right? If you allow more number of, more level will come down. If you allow less, level will maintain here. That's exactly the control that is adopted here. This is another type of evaporation you will see here, where this is an evaporator, this is a heat exchanger. You are sensing the temperature of the vapor that is going out, temperature controller, and this is controlled by for controlling the steam inlet to the heat exchanger. Okay, this is again you are measuring the temperature, and the liquid feed you are again measuring the flow through a flow transmitter, flow controller. Then you are allowing the fixed amount of heat exchanger that's going in here. Then again you are measuring the level here, which you are by allowing the liquid that is going out. On top you have a pressure transmitter. Basically by sensing the pressure, the vapor can be let out. What should be the vapor that is let out? That is done by sensing the pressure transmitter and pressure control. So we have level, temperature, flow and pressure that are being controlled here. So this is by level control by adjusting the liquid level. Here level control by adjusting the speed level. We have the level control connected to steam, and so directly the steam input is connected to the level control, and where this part is clear what we have seen here, because flow is being controlled here. And then this level transmitter you are giving to the steam directly by sensing the level, and the liquid that is going out from the evaporator, the product, basically here again you are sensing the temperature of the outgoing vapor, then accordingly you are controlling it. So there are basically two controls. Level control here, through level you are controlling the steam, and then through temperature and pressure you are controlling the liquid product that is going out. So this is what level control by adjusting this steam, and level control by adjusting the liquid. So this is another example where we have the steam that is coming in through the heat exchanger going to the evaporator, and feed is coming here at a controlled level, and a controlled flow is coming here, controlled flow, feed is coming here, steam is coming here. Okay, then vapor you are going out to another heat exchanger where your next stage level transmitter, controller and the thing. Whereas here in the evaporator you are controlling the temperature, and this temperature controller is given to the steam controller. Okay, whereas level transmitter, level control is given to the flow controller, which is taking out the product, liquid product from the bottom of the evaporator. So this is another distillation. This is a typical application of instrumentation and controls for evaporators. So this is for anyway multiple effect evaporator. Evaporator 1, you have pressure transmitter, level indicating controller, accordingly flow and pressure. Then the same thing is applied here for every stage, effect 1, effect 2, effect 3, effect 4. So at every stage, you have the pressure, level, temperature and flow being controlled to maintain the required level of humidity of the product that is coming out, or the concentrated product that is coming out. So that's all about the instrumentation and controls in evaporators. Hope you have enjoyed the session.